Hi friends, today the entire world, especially the software industry, is actually looking for the people who are experienced in DevOps and DevSecOps, right? So the reason being this is the projects actually started following the agile methods, right? Agile, they started practicing agile. So the DevOps methodology will fit in there to deliver the objects in a quicker way, right? So if you are looking for a career opportunity in DevOps and DevSecOps, please contact NDR Infotech for training with 100% placement assurance, right? And you will be getting the training from the real-time experiences, guys who have 15 plus years of experience, especially in the configuration management, build and release, DevOps, DevSecOps, and cloud, etc. The details are displaying on the screen. Please contact the NDR Infotech at the details given on the screen. Okay, before getting into that, actually, what are we going to cover in the training? So we'll just brief you in a summary, right? Please watch till the end to get the complete details. Okay, what is DevOps actually? Why do we need DevOps, right? So if we see any project, so there will be two major teams. One is the development team, and the other one is the operations team. And there will be other teams as well. So the major teams I'm talking about, right? See, any project, once the planning stage is done, then the development will complete their development phase and they do their unit testing, and they will be given to the operations team to deploy into the QA servers or the pre-production servers or production servers. It depends project to project, right? If you see actually the time the development team receives the feedback of what they delivered is actually a time consuming process in this, right? So once the development have completed their work, then operations team will take that. They might report few issues immediately as part of the deployment part. But if you see that once the operations team deploys into the QA server or production servers, so basically they will take some more time to deploy, then QA will take some time to test. Then until then, the development team has to wait to get the feedback from the delivered source or objects, right? So basically here, the development team, they're wasting time and the waiting time is more. So that's where we are losing the contact, right? So basically between operations team and the development team. So how can we avoid this? If assume that the development and the ops operations team, if they work together in a parallel, so think just, so once the development team has finished their phase, then immediately they will get the feedback, means we will save a lot of time. That's where the agile method is becoming the popular now, right? So what if we have the proper handshake between the development team and the operations team, then the objects we can deliver in a much quicker way. That's where the DevOps will play the major role, right? Now let us see what is actually DevOps. So see, this is the DevOps lifecycle. So if you take any project, it will start with the planning stage. Once the planning is done, then it will go to the coding phase. Once the coding is done, then it will go to the build and release team. Once build and release is done, then it will go to the testing phase. Once testing is done, then it will go to the integrations team. Then it will go to the deployment, then operations team. So if you see in this entire process, there will be a monitoring tools which will play the major role by monitoring all this process. If you see here, nowhere we are deviating the process. Everything is interlinked here. See, there is a proper handshake between planning, I mean the development team and the operations team. That's where the DevOps will play the major role to deliver the objects in a much quicker way. We'll talk about in details in the further sessions. right? So this is the high level life cycle of the DevOps and what are the different phases available, right? Now we are also talking about DevSecOps, right? See, everybody is behind the DevOps in today's world, right? But after following all these things, yes, we are delivering the objects in a much quicker way, right? And there is no time delay to deliver the objects between the operations team or QA team and the development team. There is a proper handshake by following the DevOps methodology. But are we really delivering a proper secured project? If you see the today's world, the hackers, the attacks which are happening into the, especially from the banking domain or basically if you take any data for that matter, right? The data is very crucial now. So if we are not following the proper security, if you are not implementing the proper security in the project, then ultimately we will end up into the kind of attacks, right? So how can we avoid that? So by following the DevSecOps model, we can avoid up to some extent. It may not be 100%, but yes, definitely we will be in a much better product we'll be delivering, and we'll be delivering a much quality product, right? These are the different DevOps phases which we just talked about: coding phase, and what will happen in the coding phase, compile, unit testing, commit, and the building phase, package, sanity testing. Then it will go to the testing phase. Then it will go to the delivery, which will be deployment. And so for this, if we actually integrate the security phases, right, security tools from the starting phase itself, which is coding in the DevOps model, right? Assume that I will be talking about few concepts here. I may not be explaining completely in detail. So let us talk about only the few tools. So we'll get the more details in future slides and videos, right? So in the coding phase, if you integrate threat modeling and design review itself, so you can avoid some security risks. And right at the same time, at the build time, if you start running few analysis tools like static code analysis or SonarQube for open source, there will be many tools, right? So we'll talk about more on that. But there are different tools which can be used or utilized at the build stage and identify the future risks at the starting stage itself, right? And there are a similar way, there are few tools which we can integrate at the testing phase and at the delivery phase. So we'll talk about more on that, right? Typically, this is the DevSecOps life cycle, right? See, this we already talked about, right? DevOps model. If you see, for every stage, starting from the build stage, there are few tools which we can integrate at the build stage itself, and the code and testing phase, there are few analysis tools which we can integrate, and these are the different tools which will fit in at the every stage of the DevOps model, which will actually cover and give us the proper analysis and complete reports for every stage before delivering it to the customer. See, in one of the surveys, actually, the rework is costlier than, it is basically costing a huge amount, right? See, what will happen once we deliver the product, then at the later stage, maybe integration stage or the customer, once you deploy into the production, if the customer identifies or some problems, maybe it is security issues or something, by the time it comes back to the development team and they identify the root cause, and they have to analyze the logs and they have to identify the root cause, and again it has to go through the complete cycle, right? Once they fix something, then it has to go to the testing phase, then planning, everything, right? So it will definitely take more time. So ultimately, what are we losing? See, definitely we will lose the customer confidence on our product, right? So to avoid that, so just integrate security tools and security methodologies at every stage in the DevOps lifecycle from the starting itself, then definitely we'll be in a position to deliver the more secure product to the customer, right? And which will avoid a lot of reworks as well, right? So overall, this is how the DevSecOps model will help in delivering the more secure products and more stable products, right? We'll talk about it in detail in future slides. Okay. What is the difference between the DevOps and DevSecOps? Just what we talked about, I have already covered in this, right? In a just summary, what is that? Security is integrated at every stage in your life cycle, right? So what is the advantage of by integrating DevSecOps model? Early detection, faster delivery, improved agility, no costly reworks, right? Ultimately, we'll end up delivering the more secure applications, right, friends? So that is the advantage over the DevOps of using the DevSecOps model. So we'll talk about few tools at every stage of the DevOps and DevSecOps model, right? If we see for any project, source code is one of the stage where we'll use GitLab, GitHub, and collaborative force. Now most of the teams or projects started using the GitLab, but still we'll talk about more tools in our upcoming slides, right? So, and what is the continuous integration servers? Jenkins, Electric Cloud, Go, GitLab. These are the few tools which will be utilized or integrated at the CI level, and testing level there will be few, and artifacts level Nexus, JFrog, and product deployment level like tools like Ansible, Puppet, Chef. It depends, right? So each project may use the different tools based on their requirement, right? So at the same time, monitoring tools like Jabex, Negos, Elasticsearch. The monitoring tool is actually very, very important now, right? So every stage of the DevOps or DevSecOps model, we will be monitoring starting from the hardware, and everything will be monitoring, and we'll getting the up-to-date reports. And now these tools will also provide the very good statistics, and we'll be getting the nice dashboards for the management just to see, rather than just sitting and digging into the logs and identifying where the problem is, all those things, right? So the monitoring tools also are playing very major role in the DevOps and DevSecOps lifecycle, right? What are the security tools which will fit in DevOps, right? These are the again I'm talking about only few tools. I'm talking only few tools here. So there are a number of tools which will cover based on the requirement, right? So like example, Fortify, Coverity, these are the scanning tools, and these are the malware scan basically, McAfee, node security, all those things. Palameda for open source, SonarQube, right? There are a number of tools. We'll talk more on those, right? Okay, friends, this is about the DevOps and DevSecOps model, right? So these are the few recommendations and opportunities by using the DevSecOps model. I'm talking about more DevSecOps model, which will also cover the DevOps model. DevOps is a subset of DevSecOps, right? So integrating the security between development and ops, which we talked about in our initial slides, right? Between the dev and ops. So that is nothing but DevSecOps. So I'll be talking about more DevSecOps only, right? So these are the advantages and opportunities where we have the over the DevSecOps model. Okay. So we'll talk about cloud as well, deployment models and cloud computing. What are the different these things, right? Benefits of cloud computing over the on-premises: scalability, speed, accessibility, better security, and cost effective, right? Everybody is moving to the cloud now because these are the advantages of using the cloud, right? So you can use the services whenever you want and just pay for that, rather than just buying and keeping it in our labs, and just instead of wasting, right, your resources. Whenever you want, just utilize those services and pay only for that, and for that minute or for that hour or for that month, right? So these are the different advantages when you compare with the cloud, with on-premises, the scalability and data loss and server storage, right? Maintenance and data security, right? So there are many advantages by using the cloud services over the on-premises. So a lot of headache will be gone and lot of money will be saved, right? So many things. The scalability is very, very, very important, right? These days, and data loss, right? So we'll talk about more on this and what are the different types of cloud computing. Basically, if we see cloud computing, deployments as well as services are available, and within the deployments there are public cloud, private cloud, and hybrid cloud. We'll talk about more on this. Similar way, there are different services like IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS, infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, or software as a service. These are the things we'll cover. So for now, that's it, guys. Now, if you are looking for a career opportunity in DevOps or DevSecOps, please contact NDR Infotech. Again, I'm flashing here, and we'll be giving the details in the description as well. If you are looking for it, these are the things. Okay, guys. Thank you. Thanks for watching the video.